What's up guys, it's me Lego Paradise here, and today I'm going to show you how to build this working Lego whack-a-mole game. So first, let's take a look at how it works. We can move this minifigure and spin the machine around to provide a better view of the game. And before you start, you'll need to take a hammer which you'll use to whack the moles with, or in this case, Lego Nexo Knight monsters. But to start the game, you simply turn the handle on the side and you can see the moles start jumping up just like in a real life whack-a-mole game. And the aim of the game is to see how many moles you can hit when they're at their highest point. And you can see the movement is pretty much just like the real life version. And of course, to make the game harder or trickier, you can spin it faster so you have less time to hit the moles. And of course it works the other way, where if you spin it slower, the moles jump up more slowly and it's a bit easier to hit them. And of course you can motorise that mechanism using a Lego Power Functions motor, but I was just showing you how it works when turning the handle manually. And you can also see that I've designed it to be minifigure scaled so that it will work perfectly in your Lego arcades or fairground creations. I'll be showing you how to build this whack-a-mole game in several sections, so let's take a look at all the pieces you're going to need to build the first part. So here are all the pieces you're going to need to build the base of your Lego whack-a-mole machine. And you can start by taking a 1x6 brick and a corner brick, and just hold them together there, and secure those bits in place with a 2x2 tile. That just goes with a stud offset. Then you can take another 2x2 tile and another corner brick and continue filling in this pattern, leaving a 1 stud gap in between them. Take your other 2x2 tile and another corner brick and place it here, and on this little gap here just take a 1x2 tile and fill in the remaining space. Then on this other side you can take a 1x8 brick and just clip it down there. Then in this corner you can take another 1x6 and just hold it there, and you can secure that in place with the last 1x6 brick, just like that. And here's where you can take a 1x3 brick, clip it down there. Then next a 1x1 brick with a Technic hole in the middle, and that goes in the middle. Then a regular 1x1 brick on the other side. Then round this final corner, take a 1x4 brick, and on top of that put a 1x2 brick. Just a normal one, just like that. Then next to that, use a 1x1 brick with a Technic hole and a Technic 1x2 brick with 2 Technic holes in it. So they should line up with the one at the very end. And then you can take your 1x2 panel piece and just clip it on that exposed stud on the end, and then use another corner piece, just clip it underneath that panel, just like that. And you'll see why we have this very particular arrangement later on. And don't worry if it falls to bits at this stage, since it will be much more secured later on. And here's where you take your 1x2 brick and just hold it there, and you can secure this all in place with a 1x2 Technic brick, again in the middle, a 1x1 Technic brick lined up with the one behind it, and a regular 1x1 brick. And there you have the base of the whack-a-mole machine. Next we'll build the mechanism that powers the whack-a-mole game, and here are all the pieces you're going to need to build it. Real life whack-a-mole games use either pneumatics or magnets to achieve the mole jumping effect, but in my scaled down Lego version I've used a crankshaft system that, as it rotates, pushes the different mole pieces up and down So that's what we're going to build in this step. And first we'll build the whac-a-mole crankshaft at the back. And for this, you can just take a 1x8 Technic axle, and you can either use one with a stopper, like I've used here, or one with both of the ends open. Doesn't make too much difference. And here's where you can take some of these Technic plate pieces and just slide it in, so there's roughly a 1 brick gap in the middle, and add another brick over here. And continue this design, except this time place this Technic plate on the opposite side. So you can see how this would work, because these are the pieces which push the moles up and down. So when one of these pieces is up, then the mole will be up and the other one will fall down, and vice versa, same the other way. So then we can continue this design with another 1x2 Technic brick. You can put this aside for now, because you'll need to take the base that we built earlier. And for this stage, you can actually take a couple of these pieces out, such as these 1x1 bricks. And it will probably be easier just to slide these in, like so, onto this end. And this time, you're going to want to take a 1x1 gear piece and just slide that in like that. Of course, it will all be pretty loose at the moment, but once we secure it all in place, everything will be all nice and tight. So then you can take a 1x1 brick with the Technic hole from your base structure. And this bit's a bit complicated, but there's not much that can be done about that. And basically what you have to do is try and fit this whole structure into the frame which we've built earlier. So you can start by taking the 2 Technic bricks on this side and just clipping them in the gaps, and just rotating these bits up so they sit against the wall, just like that. And if it's slightly out, like you can see here, then just push some of the gears back, or these paddle pieces, just to make some space. So that was the first crankshaft to control the 2 moles at the back, and now we can build the next one. So for the 3 moles at the front, you're going to need to take this longer bar piece, and with this axle you can start off by taking one of these Technic pusher pieces and just slide it in, because this will sit in the wall, and you want to make sure that it's in the middle as possible, just to avoid any gaps. And then take another 1x2 brick, slide that in, and here's where you can start to alternate the design so that not all the moles will jump up at the same time, just like at the back. And again, making sure to stick these bricks exactly where they're supposed to go. And as you can see, since both of these Technic pusher pieces are in the same place, this will mean that 2 moles pop up at the same time. But there's not much that can be done about that, since we only have 4 directions in which we can attach these pusher pieces. But that's not too much of a problem. So now we can again put this aside for now, and take our base that we built earlier, and again just deconstruct it just a little bit by taking out these 1x2 Technic bricks. And it's a little bit fiddly, but this is quite a complicated structure, so there's not really many other ways to build it. But this is where it's probably most trickiest to get right. So you need to basically line up all of these pieces into the different places which they can be placed. there's really not any easier way to do this apart from building it all from scratch. But if you turn around the pieces, they should eventually fit into place and lock on to the bricks at the bottom. So you can see we got one of the bricks secured, and you can really do this however is easiest for you. The main thing is that they all eventually end up being in this pattern like this. And you can see we finally got that in. Just need to take our other 1x2 brick and place that over the gap there. And if any pieces have fallen off, just reattach them. But that means that eventually you'll end up with something that looks like this. And again, once you have everything all clipped into place, it should look exactly like this from underneath. And you can always push the bar across just to make sure all of these pusher pieces are spaced out as evenly as possible. So you can see that there should be enough room for each of them to rotate without hitting the ones at the back. So we're almost done with the mechanism. Now it's time to add the handle to power it. And for this, we'll just put this down for now, because before we add the handle, we're just going to want to add a couple more gear pieces. And there's quite a lot of different sections to this build, all crammed into this small area. So you're just going to need to take out this 1x2 brick, if you've placed that in already, and just slide a gear in just like that. But as long as you have all of the other bricks secured, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to take that piece out again. And before you put that back in, here's where you're going to want to put another gear. Now the placement of this gear is quite important. You're going to want to first align these paddle pieces so that when these paddles are parallel with the tiles, the other paddles are facing upwards. And then just slide the gear in so it locks them into place. And you can always take out the 1x1 brick if it makes it a little bit easier to position. But the goal is so that when this one spins around, the other ones will pop up, just like on the example at the start. And it can take a little bit of time and positioning to get everything working. But that's okay, because the end result is definitely worth it. So again, if any of these pieces just fall out of position, just position them back and it will all be fine. And there you go. I think we have that locked into place. And once you're happy with the location of both paddles, then you can lock that gear into place with a 1x4 axle. And just slide that in just a little bit like that. Then you can reattach your 1x2 Technic brick over there. Your 1x1 on the gear on end and a 1x2 underneath. And now that should all be connected by this axle at the end. So now that we've finally got the mechanism sorted, just to make it a bit easier to power, we can build the handle. And the handle's pretty simple to build. Just need to take this 1x2 Technic piece and a loose Technic pin, one that can spin around freely, and a 1x2 tube just to act as a handle. Now you can clip this to the axle at the end, and to stop the axle from sliding out the other end, just put your finger around the back just to secure it while it's there. And there you go. So now it should only spin in one direction, and of course it will work much better once these bricks are not loose at the back, but you can see that you can now control it with the handle on the side. Okay, so now with the trickiest part of the build complete, we can continue building up the whack-a-mole game. So with this, you can take what we've built so far and start off by taking a 2x3 brick and just securing that corner 1x2 Technic brick in place. And you can continue along, placing a 1x1 brick in the gap and a 1x3 brick to cover that whole section off and secure another one of the bricks in place, and then another 1x1 brick on the other side. Then on this side, instead of a 2x3, just take a 2x2 brick, clip it down there, and a corner brick, and clip it over this whole structure. And now there should be no loose sections of the build, and just check that everything still spins around and works as it should. And if some of these gears need adjusting, just slide them around until you get them where you want them. So now we can continue building, and for this, take a 1x2 brick, clip it on the side, and another one going over this panel piece, just like that. And the reason we have this panel piece here instead of a brick is just to allow space for this end gear to spin around. And on top of this, take our 1x2 brick with a clip to hold the hammer and place it over there, and a 1x3 brick around the back. And then around the front, you can take 3 1x1 bricks with the stud on the front and clip them there, and also on these 2 Technic bricks, just on the ends, just like that. And then behind those, this is where you can take a couple of 1x1 plates and raise up the height by clipping them just on top of both bricks. And on top of those, you can take some inverted slope pieces and clip them so they're facing inwards. And this should mean that there's plenty of space for that pusher at the back to spin without hitting the slope piece as it turns around. And then on the front, this is where you can cover up the holes using some tiles. So first you'll take a 1x2 tile and clip that over there, so it should sit nicely over the top of the yellow tiles, and a 2x2 tile on this side, and finally a 2x4 tile to fill in the gap. And again, it's always a good place to check that everything still works and spins as it should do. So next we can build up another layer, this time a thin one using some yellow plates. So to secure this bit on the end, just take a couple of 2x3 plates and place them down just like that, and start to build up the side with a 1x2, a 1x6, then a 1x4 plate around this side, and you can see where the gaps need to be filled in. So the 1x2s just raise up the height of these back columns. And it's almost complete. Just got to now add in the moles and finish off the top. Okay, so here are the rest of the pieces you'll need to complete your Lego whack-a-mole game. And in case you don't know what this piece is, this is just a printed tile with a monster head from the Lego Nexo Knights series, and I think this works pretty well as a replacement for a mole, or you can use really any printed Lego tile that you want. But if you want to use these exact head pieces, then I'll leave a link to the set which you can get them in the description below. But obviously, since LEGO don't currently do a printed mole piece, I thought these monster heads are the next best thing to use. So of course all of the heads are identical, and to build them you just take a 1x2 plate with the slope piece on top of it and clip the 1x2 tile with whatever pattern you want to the front and a 1x1 tile around the back, just like that, and you do that for all of your pieces and all of your monster tiles. So once you've assembled all of your moles, you can place them inside of your whack-a-mole game, and they can just sit right at the back. See where the gaps are, not above the bars or axles, but just in the gaps at the back there, and just slide them in, push them down so that they fit nicely. And don't worry if they fall over in the front, because we'll sort that out next. So now that they're positioned like that, it's time to secure them in place. And this is where you're going to want to take your tile pieces. So with some corner tiles, you can stop the front ones falling over by just clipping it over, and with the corner that overhangs, that should stop them and secure them in place. And you just do that in the same direction for all of the moles around the front. And then this should finish it off pretty nicely. And then once you've done all of the tiles around the front, then you can take the corner tiles and secure the moles in at the back. And then with the remaining space, just take a 2x2 tile around here, a 1x6 around the back, also around the front, and a couple of 1x3 tiles on the corners. And you can fill in this side with a 2x4. And you can check that they bounce up and down by giving the handle a turn. And there you go, you have your LEGO whack-a-mole machine. Just make sure that they can bounce up and down nice and freely. If they're a bit stuck, just give some of these tiles a push, make sure that all of the bricks are secured in place, and that should leave you with a very smooth mechanism for your whack-a-mole game. You can use whatever hammer you want. I've just used LEGO Thor's hammer from the Marvel superhero sets, and I'll also leave a link in the description as to where you can get that piece. So I hope you enjoyed building your working LEGO whack-a-mole machine, and if you did, don't forget to check out my other working LEGO machines, including how to build a working LEGO pinball machine, coin pusher, candy grabber machine, and shooting gallery game. And I'll be back next time with some more LEGO creations. Thanks for watching.